Hey everyone, you're watching Anime with Jackson. In this video, we're going to go through foreshadowing in anime stories. Now I know, some of you are probably like, foreshadowing, what the hell is that? So hopefully this video will answer that question, as well as maybe what it does good for anime in general. Well, what foreshadowing is, in basic terms, is basically, it somewhat predicts the future. It is when the creator goes to the effort of mentioning something before it becomes a major issue. So like when in One Piece, when they're going through the devil fruits at the start of the series and explain exactly what they are and how they mention how there is a fruit that controls fire and a fruit that can create tsunamis. That was foreshadowing because Pork-ass the Ace, who could control fire because of his devil fruit, and Whitebeard with his Troma fruit, he could create tsunami. Other examples are like with Fairy Tail. I reckon Fairy Tail is a great example of story foreshadowing because there's so much that it mentions well in advance. All three Dark Guilds in the Barroom Alliance, so Ratio Saints, Grimoire Heart, and oh crap, one of all the devils. I can't currently remember at the moment. God, that's bad. But yeah, it's all mentioned well in advance. And there's a fair few other things, like even Zeref is mentioned well before he is actually introduced. And that's what foreshadowing is. It is the mention of something before it becomes really part of the plot, part of the story, or an issue in the story. So in that sense, what foreshadowing is and what foreshadowing does is the opposite of lore and backstory. Well, lore and backstory tells you the history of the story before the anime starts. Foreshadowing tells you, not as much tells you what's going to happen, but give you little hints as to this here is going to come up later on. So that there is what foreshadowing is. Now, is foreshadowing good or bad for anime? It really does depend on the anime. While in manga and light novels, foreshadowing is guaranteed to be good because anything that gets serialized hopefully lasts for a long time. So when foreshadowing gets used, it should be at a point of it's set that the manga and light novel is going to be getting published for a little bit more to come. But with anime, it's different because there isn't that many long-running series or series that span over multiple seasons. So when it comes to a shorter anime, like a 12 or 24 episode anime, foreshadowing is really redundant in my opinion because it's wasting the limited time that these animes do have, where it's actually not needed, especially if it's not going to cover something that the anime isn't going to cover. But in a long-running series like Fairy Tail, One Piece, Naruto, it's actually really good. And that's because it creates some really interesting story opportunities. Because with foreshadowing, you get this mystery. There's this mystery behind foreshadowing, and what the mystery is you gain these little bits of information, and you're going, well, what more is there to this topic that the anime is just skimming the surface of? And that is because usually foreshadowing doesn't go too much into detail because they don't want to spill too much. They don't want to go, hey, this person or this thing is going to be so powerful or something preposterous or whatever. I don't want to give too much detail. I just want to mention it. Just mention like the Ratio Saints of, hey, these guys exist. But then it's leaving you that mystery of who are these guys? What are their abilities? What can they do? What is their goal? How many members do they have? So it creates that mystery of what the hell is actually up with this group, which helps keep the reader or viewer hooked on the series. And that's always a good thing because you keeping the reader hooked on the series or the viewer is really what gets the series to be able to continue its serialization. Another good thing about foreshadowing is that with its ability to create some interesting story opportunities, it does allow the use of using foreshadowing to explain something. Like with the Devil Fruits in One Piece, as I said before, when it mentioned what Firefist Ace's ability and Whitebeard's ability were, that they were used to explain something, and it was with foreshadowing. So foreshadowing can be used to just skim the surface of something, but also explains the details of what is happening in the here and now of the show. And that is with hopefully the viewer not really realizing what they are doing. And I reckon that the last really good thing about foreshadowing is that it does help create some form of break. And what I mean by that is with this interesting story opportunities, like with they're creating mystery and helping to explain something else that it allows the show just to take a break. It just allows it to slow its pace down, mention something, and it does do all these things all at once before it gets back into the swing of things. So while what has been foreshadowed has been mentioned, it's just allowing the viewer just to take this breather and just take in this light bit of information, because like I said plenty of times already, that it is just giving the surface of the topic that's been foreshadowed. And with that, it just allows the viewer just to refresh and just take in what has happened already. Just take in this light bit of information before things get heavy and dense again. So yeah, that there is what is good. And other than that, there's not really much that is bad. As I said beforehand, unless it's going to be like only 1 season or 2 seasons at times, foreshadowing is just pointless in my opinion in anime. Especially when they are 12-episode seasons. If you know it's going to be something that just keeps getting seasons upon seasons upon seasons, well then yeah, go for it. There's nothing wrong with foreshadowing. In fact, it's a really good thing. So with that, there's nothing really wrong with foreshadowing as long as it just doesn't take up the time restraints that some series do have. So yeah, that's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, give this video a like or comment down in the comment section below. If you want to see more content by me, well then maybe check my channel out. There's plenty of videos on there. You might find something that you like. If you want to stay up to date when I upload more things, then consider clicking that subscribe button. It'll be an amazing help. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all next time in the next video.